steady baking, and our heads is looking vacant cause my brain is on vacation, and they want a piece of me. I ask them, what do you got?
Whenever you hear people talk about the way Family Guy has changed over the past 25 years, I feel like the difference in Brian's character is more talked about than anything else, and I think I get it. A character that was once this voice of reason in a sea of characters that seemingly refused to make the right decisions, slowly morphed into this pretentious hypocrite who everyone knows isn't as smart as he thinks he is. But I think because of the kind of show that Family Guy is, most people talk about this as something that kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't know if that's true. Personally, I've always felt like I could point to the exact moment that the trend of writing this character this way started. So that's what this video is. Or what it will be after this ad read. Alright, today's video is actually brought to you by the game War Thunder. War Thunder is this massive free-to-play large-scale multiplayer action game where you can fight anyone around the world using ground vehicles, aircrafts, and naval vessels. This ain't your daddy's video game, because he's 65 and doesn't know how to hold the controller. And it's available for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Mac, so I don't want to hear no damn excuses. The attention to detail is otherworldly. The available list of tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships that they got in this thing is relentlessly extensive. If you're a fan of military vehicles, this is definitely the game for you. Old school, new school, you name it, it's on there. The graphics and physics just keep getting better and better. It's like being thrown right in the middle of an action movie, except there ain't no Rock and there ain't no Vin Diesel. In fact, you're the Rock and Vin Diesel. You could be the Vin Rock. That was stupid, I'm sorry. All advanced military technologies are available. Guided missiles, active protection systems, night vision devices. The level of destruction you could do to your opponents is nuts. The scale just keeps getting larger and larger. War Thunder allows you to play the way you want to. Break through the front line in a tank, cover ground vehicles from a helicopter, or participate in fighter battles among the clouds. And you're not even limited to one type of equipment. You can upgrade vehicles, customize them, and because of their unique damage model, there's no need for health bars. You can see each hit with an X-ray mode.
Ouch, that's smart.
And you gotta know about that recent Dance of the Dragons update. Get a whole line of French combat boats, 2 top-tier Chinese flyer jets, the advanced American attack aircraft A-10 Thunderbolt II, and the tactical bomber F-111. And not to mention the dozens of improvements they made based on community requests, because you know they listen to the people. Additionally, you can get the BMP Puma in a new modification, and the British missile system Stormer Air Defense. You could be a regular G.I. Joe out here. Or G.I. Jose. I don't know, a lot of different people watch these videos. Download War Thunder for free by using the link in the description. All new players and those who haven't played War Thunder for half a year or more will receive some special bonuses, including rentals for the P-40E1 aircraft and M4 tank for a week, along with free unique skins for them, special decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, 3 premium vehicles for free, a week of premium account, and even more gifts. And make sure you get it while you can. The American Vehicle bonus season will end soon. Hurry up, the video about to start. Alright, time for some Family Guy character analysis. Y'all missed this shit? My pocket sure did. I think that Family Guy is a cartoon that really enjoys kicking the piss out of his own characters, especially after that revival. They put Stewie in situations that remind him that he's not as smart or clever as he thinks he is, reminding him that he's a baby and can still be naive.
Do you even know what sex is?
That's not the point. Don't change it. It's a kind of kick.
They remind Peter that while he gets away with a lot of shit, he is not indestructible, and some of his actions have legitimate consequences.
Well, I finally quit smoking and I'm ready to go back to normal.
Peter, that's not how it works. The damage you've done is irreversible.
Yeah, Lois is right.
What? Well, try cutting to the outside of the house over some music. That usually works. Fuck.
For Brian, before he even changed as a character, they started poking at him to see if he actually is this holier-than-thou voice of reason, or if he's not as knowledgeable, moral-based, liberal, or as good of a writer as he leads on.
And I finally have a title.
What is it?
Faster than the speed of love.
That is the worst title I've ever heard.
Longtime fans of Family Guy will most likely remember Jillian, played by Drew Barrymore, Brian's girlfriend for a couple seasons, who was both really hot and really fucking stupid at the same time. My favorite joke with her is the one where she tries to watch the Bernie Mac movie, Mr. 3000.
Yeah, the DVD needs to be face up when you put it in. Uh-huh. You should be able to see the words Mr. 3000. Yeah.
Brian and Jillian date for what is the show's equivalent of like 6 months. They even move in together for an episode because of some pressure from Peter, even though Brian really doesn't want to do it. And once Jillian finds that out, she breaks everything off.
Oh my God! I've never felt so stupid.
Really?
Brian tries to get her back, but by the time he pulls up, She already moved in with Adam West, who, I must say, is the nigga with the nastiest set of bodies out of everybody in this whole show.
Meg?
Yeah, this still happens sometimes.
Bro even fucked Rupert.
I'm gonna let that teddy bear go all the way.
Why did they kick bro out the orgy? He take this sex shit to a whole nother level. While I think Brian's arc with Jillian is really important for understanding his character and his decision making for a good chunk of the show, that's not exactly where I think he changed. It's the aftermath. The 124th episode of Family Guy is titled We Love You, Conrad. In it, Brian learns that Jillian is getting married and everyone gets an invite to the wedding except him. And it doesn't help that he hasn't had any luck with dating since they broke up.
I never do computer dating.
Yeah, me neither. So, you're 27?
Well, that picture was, it was posted a couple years ago. So you're a golden retriever?
Yeah, well, okay, who is this broad that jumped on eHarmony and tried to fuck a golden retriever? Man, this show is weird. This really bothers him, so he hits the bar and gets drunk, ultimately sleeping with Lauren Conrad from the hills.
I mean, I probably had a lot to drink last night, so if I did anything that might have offended you, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I have a dog, so I've had to cut poop out of his fur before.
Oh, thanks.
Again, weird show. A show like The Hills goes against everything that we're to believe that Brian's character stands for at this point in the show. So he's embarrassed and honestly was probably never gonna call her again if Stewie didn't catch them outside together. By the time he gets home, it's already on TMZ.
Oh yeah, I know that guy. His name's Brian Griffin, and he definitely boned Lauren last night.
So like, if Lois and Meg can't understand Stewie, how exactly do they hear him on TMZ? He pulls up to break it off with her, but when he gets there, he finds out that she's super intelligent. She's playing like violin and conducting experiments like off the walk-in. That TV stuff is kind of just for the bag. In her personal life, she's the total opposite.
So this whole persona is just a publicity stunt?
Publicity is what keeps this franchise running, Brian. We're even using state-of-the-art computer animation to create a fake sex tape with me and Bill Cosby.
Now you will get ready for the
come on. Yeah, stop. I don't want no, stop. Oh my gosh. It's times like this, I'm glad I grew up with Mr. Cooper instead. His whole arc with Jillian, it seems like the takeaway from a lot of that is that Brian needs someone that's on his level. He needs to be challenged and have intellectual conversations. He needs his brain stimulated like that check that I never got. But in this episode with Lauren, it pretty much cements that this is not what Brian needs or wants. In fact, it actually pisses him and low-key the people around him the fuck off.
Actually, Mrs. Griffin, caviar spoons are carved from bone. They don't use metal because it reacts chemically with the fish eggs and changes their taste.
Oh, well, that's fascinating. You could have just complimented the free food, but one-upping me is another way to go.
So, guys.
Bitch.
See, one thing I've always noticed about this episode is that it's so easy to frame this as Brian getting a taste of his own medicine, but that's really not what it is. Every single small mistake Brian makes, every mispronunciation, every misinterpretation, Lauren feels the need to correct him and over-explain.
There was a special exhibition of rare Monet paintings and...
Manet, honey.
What?
It was actually the Manet exhibit, not Monet. But no big deal. People make that mistake all the time.
I'm at the part where they detail the account of Admiral Halsey's victory at Midway.
You mean Admiral Spruance, sweetie.
Huh?
Well, Halsey was hospitalized with psoriasis at the outset of the battle, so Spruance, who prior to June of 1941 was primarily a desk admiral, was charged with leading the naval fleet at Midway against Japan. A victory which surprised even his peers, and in fact was a turning point for the American naval forces in the Pacific.
And honestly, the more it goes on, it gets to the point where it definitely becomes patronizing to anybody.
Oh my god, you're so cute when you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, wait a minute, what the hell does that mean? Are you saying I'm not smart?
You don't have to be, you're adorable.
But you look back on those Brian and Jillian episodes, he never really does that to her. If she gets something wrong, he kind of just lets her rock out and enjoy her bliss. Brian knew he was smarter than Jillian, right? Yet he never used that against her, nor did he even really care. This episode shows that Brian really does prefer bond and connection over intellect. At least back then, I don't know what this nigga be doing now. They break up and there's this whole thing of Brian trying to get Jillian back during a wedding. The rest of the episode is really important if you're trying to build out an arc for how Brian goes about dating women after this point in the show. He becomes a lot more shallow, a lot more superficial. He kind of just treats every woman the same, and that's not really a good thing. Like, from this point moving forward, this is this nigga's favorite line.
The truth is, I haven't felt this way with anyone in a long time. I honestly feel a connection to this woman. More than I have to anyone in a long time. I can't remember the last time I felt this happy.
That's just what being a man is. You pick one line and you stick with it for the rest of your life. All the lines I use on my girlfriend are things I heard on Animaniacs in 4th grade. There ain't an original bone in my body.
Anyway, please donate to my original pilot.
Good night, everybody.
The homie Lydia did a really great video about his love life on her channel that I wish I did, but I've been too busy crying myself to sleep since July. But I really think this second act is so interesting just from like a character analysis point of view, because this episode, this act, it is the very first time that both Brian himself and the audience are challenged with one question that the show would play with for the rest of its run. What if Brian isn't as smart or deep or insightful as he thinks he is, as we think he is? Why does he think he knows everything? Who does he think he is? Alright, that was multiple questions. 3 episodes later is the classic season 8 premiere, Road to the Multiverse. And while it is by no means the first Brian and Stewie story, it is the first one with a Brian that's closer to the one that we know today. In something like Road to Rhode Island, their dynamic is that Stewie constantly tries to belittle and patronize Brian, but he's too smart, rational, and level-headed to care. Stewie thinks he's smarter than him, but he's just a baby that doesn't even know that he's supposed to put his seatbelt on.
You left out the part where I made you smash your head on the windshield. I do recall.
But in Multiverse, Stewie is a genius whose stock emotion isn't just anger or cynicism. And Brian is like suddenly below him in terms of intelligence. Not only that, but he fakes the funk. He suddenly feels the need to overcompensate about what he knows and doesn't know. This is from the first 2 minutes of the episode.
You ever heard of the multiverse theory, Brian?
Well, of course I have, but I'm wondering if you have.
Oh my god, so transparent.
6 episodes after this, Jerome is the new Black, with Quagmire's infamous speech about how much he fucking hates Brian, just further kicking the piss out of this character whose flaws before this were no worse than any average human being. The next year, Brian writes a bestseller. This nigga not even smart enough to talk on Bill Maher. Man, you could throw me, Phantom Strider, Crop Gang ENT, and Wacky Deli up there and we shake the table. look at this nightmare blunt rotation. Before anyone says it, they could have not done this on purpose. Honestly, if you're here to comment that I'm taking Family Guy too seriously, you might need to look inward because you the one that clicked on a Family Guy analysis video. At least I'm getting a bag, homie. You and that bitch watching this shit for free. But it is so interesting to me that in his very next story, after having his character shined in a new light, Brian is suddenly written a completely different way. And it continues. It's the way that it's consistently been for the past like 15 years at this point. I do love who Brian used to be. As a fan of the show and this world, how could I not, right? But at the same time, the more I come to understand comedy and sitcom writing, who he is today is so much easier to make funny. And he still fulfills his original role a lot of the time, just with Peter, Turkey Guys, Underage Peter. Even a more current example like Pawtucket Pat still gives us that voice of reason Brian that alerts Peter when he's flying off the handles and doesn't understand the position that he's putting himself into.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna let some draft-dodging liberals tear it down.
We don't have a draft.
Well, then, who shaved my head and yelled at me for 2 months?
Peter, we've been over this. That was the Heaven's Gate cult.
Oh, right, the thing with the shoes. Yeah, once I got the shoes, I split.
I can't really fault anyone that doesn't like that their favorite character turned into the exact kind of guy that they hate. That's just kind of a universally understood emotion. But I'm at least glad that it was gradual. And it all comes from this point.
How could I have been so myopic?
Myopic.
Thank you, Lauren.
Alright, that's the video. I'm sorry if the ad read went on a little long. If anyone's tired of the shorter videos, do not worry. I'm currently trying to cook up long videos on both Cleveland Show and All Grown Up. They're just gonna take a while for me to make those as good as I want to. Getting a little of the animation for my pilot done. Shout out to the homie K Bebop. Indiegogo updates coming soon. Here's hoping that I don't have another month-long panic attack between uploads again. Too late.
Good night, everybody.
Gosh.
First things first, I popper, freaks all the honeys, dummies, playboy bunnies, those wanting money. Those the ones I like cause they don't get Nathan but penetration. Unless it smells like sanitation, garbage I turn like doorknobs. Heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Coochie down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. And my jam knocking your Mitsubishi. Girls pee-pee when they see me. Navajos creep me in they teepee. As I lay down laws like Island Coppet. Stop it if you think they're gonna make a profit. Don't see my ones, don't see my guns. Get it? Now tell your friends Papa hit it, then split it in two as I flow with the Junior Mafia. I don't know what the hell's stopping ya. I'm clocking ya, Versace shade watching ya. Once you grin, I'm in, game begins. First I talk about how I dress is this and that.